Just another day at the Buurman Woodworking Shop in Utrecht, Netherlands. And today we're going to show you how in just 3 days we made this treehouse. Around this massive willow tree using upcycled materials from the Boomhut Woodworking Shop. And about 10 people. And of course, a treehouse building expert. Our Boomhut Bouwen Masterclass instructor is Antoinette Blok. She's a well-renowned and highly experienced treehouse builder. She has about 15 years of experience and over 130 treehouses built in her time. She really does amazing work, and her story to becoming a treehouse builder is just as special. You can find her work on her website boomhutbouwen.nl. Let's go! So just scoping out the site, this willow tree really is massive, and it's not an incredible amount of space around it, so I'm very curious at how we're supposed to go about building this treehouse. So like I said, we spent 3 days doing this work, and at the beginning of each day, we had several hours of Antoinette going through PowerPoints with us and really describing in depth every step of what we're going to do that day and all the different types of ways you can do it. And the first day was just about building the structure around the house. So I found this part particularly interesting because this is the base of any building project that you want to make. So first things first, we brought out the supporting beams and the cross beams, which are going to serve as the main base support of this whole structure. And to make sure that we get really good stability on it, we actually have to dig these holes at least 80 centimeters deep so that we can have it fixed into the ground.
Natuurlijk eigenlijk niet, hè, wat je nu doet.
Dat die balk niet helemaal recht is. Of,
Ja,
ja.
dus er komen dingen en dan ga je...
After making sure that the beams are in the place we want them to be, you gotta really stomp the ground in around it just to make sure that any holes that you dug around it are filled fully so it can hold structure into place tightly. So pretty much we went around and repeated this process for all corners of this structure. It's really helpful to have so many hands working on a project because things go so much faster and people can work on different tasks at any given time. The cool thing about this is that there are several things that people need to do. Sometimes the structure needs to be put into place, but sometimes wood needs to be getting chopped. And it's nice that we can switch off into stations because most of the students in this class are beginners to intermediate, and it's nice to get some more experience with different tasks, so you can choose. So on top of the main supporting beams, we put on the cross beams that add additional support for the floors that are going to go on top. So the floors get directly built onto these cross beams. So once the supporting structure is secured into place, the next step is to add the floors. So we custom made the floors from upcycled materials in Buurman. That's the beauty of Buurman, is that they're a circular hardware store and you can find building materials that are ready for a second life. So Buurman being a circular hardware store means that they work together with organizations and people that don't want to turn their residual materials into waste, but they want to use the raw materials in a circular manner. So they just pass it along, or they continue to sell it as opposed to just burning it or throwing it in the waste. Buurman is helping in closing this material cycle. Honestly, I find it spectacular that we can go from absolutely nothing being in this place to being able to trust this structure enough to stand and work on it at several meters high. So in our first day, we finished that supporting base structure and also put the floors in. And in the second day, we start to build the walls that we're going to put on that structure. So we split up into 5 teams. Each team built their own wall, and within that we built frames that we would put windows into or other accessories into the wall. The really cool thing about that is Antoinette gives us the design for each wall and what it's going to take to make each one. So although there is room for creativity to make the wall how we want, there is a base design, which is a great thing because most of us would be lost if we didn't have that. So we take this design, we understand the measurements, and we start to build. Now it's very difficult to capture all that was going on in this day. Because there were 5 different teams and everybody was working on their own wall or windows and frames, it's tough to capture it all, but it was such a productive day to go from no walls to 5 walls getting put up, and they all fit together. It's incredible. To watch the level of focus and commitment that everybody had to their design, it's so special to see that it all comes together, and that's where the design matters so much, and Antoinette's thinking and expertise. The fact that she can send out 5 different teams of people to make 5 different walls and actually expect it to fit together at the end of the day. Now, I didn't capture the first walls being put up, but it was pretty much done in this way, where several people push it from the ground up, a couple of us at the top receive it and pull it up, and then we start to secure it into place. Now, it felt super nice that after 2 days, we already had a structure that we can hang out in and just be in the tree where the leaves are in our face. We actually feel safe in this place. There are walls securing us in, and we can feel we can walk around and socialize. And it's a very special feeling to see that just after 2 days, this can already be done. But we're missing just one thing. So we finished up day 2, and now we have the supporting structure and the walls in place. And now we want to go from this to this. So we have to complete the roof and also any internal structures that we'd like to build along the way. Now, I didn't realize how many aspects go into building the roof, but I knew it was important. So I worked on the team where we built the actual roofing beam to which everything will be connected to or laid down on top of. And the tough thing about this is that you can only choose one task. So although she goes over everything at the start of the class, there are some things that you can't learn completely. You can't do it yourself because there's only so much time that there is. So everybody has to split up into groups. But I was very eager to do this roofing beam because that's something I just knew nothing about, and it's so important to the structure of the home. Now, it's pretty amazing because I didn't watch the roofing material getting built. All of a sudden, there comes the whole roofing material getting slapped on top of this place. And everybody worked really hard to put it into place. And working on building a roof is a very difficult process because you have to work at strange angles sometimes. You have to work at really tall heights. So this actually took a lot of work to get done and a lot of different hands. Also, one really cool thing was that we built the railing, or the balustrade, using really cool and funky twigs. And we also made a very secure structure out of it, so it was exciting to see also how that's put together, because that can be useful in any project. Inside of the treehouse, you gotta have some chilling space, so we built a couple of easy benches right there. Very supportive. I didn't know anything about treehouse building or treehouse builders in specific, but I'm a fan of Antoinette and her work, and I highly suggest you to check out what she does on her website. You can see that this is something that she's very passionate about, and that it's not just about the trees, it's not just about the wood, but it's about the community that's built around it. As well as Buurman Utrecht, I spent countless hours already in the last year and a half there, and it's a very special place for a lot of different reasons. Not just that they're good at what they do, but the circular economy, the material-driven design, the community that's built around it, and all the work that they do in the community. If you do live in the Netherlands, I highly suggest you check out Buurman in any of their locations.